In this module, we're going to talk about bidding. But before we get into that, what is a bid and why should you care? Many people I talk to when they're just starting out on their Google Ads journey think that they're going to somehow buy a keyword. If I put this keyword into my account, then I am showing ads against that keyword. Surely, right? Well, two little nuances there. We've already talked about the difference between a search query and a keyword, and the two have to be close enough. But once they're close enough, that just gets you to the next step. And the next step is effectively an auction. And like every auction, the more you bid, the more likely you are to come out the other side of that auction a winner. Just like bidding for a house. Now, with a house, there can only be one winner. There can only be one person that wins the auction. With Google Ads, you want to be one of those 4 people that are at the top of the page. Not many people make it to the bottom of the page, and even less make it to page 2 of the results on Google search. So the goal here in the auction that you're going to go into is every time somebody searches for something that's close to a keyword in your account, you want to be one of the top 4 advertisers in that auction. And the way you do that, or one of the many ways that you do that, is by bidding. So let's just say you bid $1 for your one keyword in your account. Every time somebody goes searching, Google has a look at you and says, yep, it's a close thing. What are you offering me? You're offering me $1. Okay. And then it goes away and looks at all of the other advertisers that want to show an ad to this person. And based on that bid of $1, that helps decide if you are one of the winners of that auction or not. Typically, you'll end up, if you do qualify, if you make it through that auction and you show an ad, and then obviously if somebody clicks on your ad, remember, you don't pay anything at all unless that person actually clicks on your ad. When they click, you will probably not even pay that full $1. Most of the time, you're going to pay something less than what you've bid. So if you've bid $1, you might end up paying 82 cents. You don't know beforehand. You may even pay a little bit more because Google's changed the rules a few times. And where it used to be the case, you would always pay less than your bid. Now there is a chance, depending on a whole bunch of factors that are outside this particular course, you may end up paying more. So you might even pay $1.18 for that click. You might also pay 60 cents. So a bid is just the way by which you control, one, if you're going to get into the auction, but obviously how much you're then going to spend on each click. So one of the things that you're going to do, and we'll talk about this when we get to the optimization module, one of the things that you have in your control is the ability to change bids, to raise your bid or lower your bid. Lowering your bid is going to, yes, make clicks cheaper, but it also means you're less likely to get in the auction, which means less people are probably going to see your ad. Raising your bid, in other words, offering Google more money for each click, is probably going to cause your ad to maybe show higher up on the page, but particularly it's going to show your ad more often. You're going to win more auctions and Google's going to show your ad more. But of course, you're going to get charged more per click. So raising your bid from say $1 to $2 might cause your cost per action. Remember that CPA thing that we talked about right at the beginning, your cost per lead. It might cause that to go from $120 to $180. And maybe that's not sustainable for your business. So as you change the cost per click, that changes the cost per outcome. Remember, we've got an input here, the amount of cash we're spending, and some sort of output, the number of conversions, the number of leads or sales that we get. So our job as professional PPCers, as search engine marketers, is to constantly be adjusting these bids, and there are many ways we can do that, which we're going to talk about, to adjust the bids so that we get a combination of the most number of leads possible, but at the best price possible. Let's go one step deeper here. If I were to say to Google, let's think about this in terms of cost per lead for a minute rather than just the cost per click, but it's analogous, so go with me. Let's say that we offered Google $1 per lead. And this is in a typical market where all your competitors are willing to spend $100 on the lead. If you offered Google $1 per lead, you would probably not get a single lead all year, maybe one. If you start to increase your cost per lead, what you're willing to spend, and now let's say you're willing to spend $20, well, maybe you get the occasional lead, but most of the time Google won't show your ad because it can make more money elsewhere. Okay, so we look at this, we look at the data, we learn from this, and we start to raise our price. And now we're pricing it around $100. We're saying we're willing to spend $100 per lead. And Google starts sending you lots of leads and you're making lots of profit. Lovely. You might then think, well, okay, I can spend more money and get more leads. So let's raise this up to $200. Now, Google may send you more leads at this point. It might not, but it probably will. But that $200 is obviously a lot less profitable for your business. And so your total profit now starts to fall. So you can see we're sort of starting to look at a bit of a curve here. At $1, we don't get any leads. At, hypothetically, $100, we get lots of leads and it's profitable. At $200, we might get more leads, but our overall total profit is less. Let's say our break-even point is $200. We could offer the machine $500 a lead, and it will send us loads and loads of leads, but we're losing money every single time because we're paying $500 for a lead and our break-even point is $200. So now we'd be losing money every time we run an ad. Our job as search engine marketers is to try and find that Goldilocks point somewhere in the middle. It's never going to be exact, but somewhere in the middle that maximizes our profit, that gets us the right number of leads at roughly the right cost per lead. That's why bidding matters so much. It is an absolute essential skill that you have to master in order to squeeze the most profit out of your Google Ads account. And profit isn't the most important thing in business, let's be clear. People and planet are way more important than profit, but you're probably going to use profit as the short-term measure of success with your Google Ads account. If we're going to do an experiment, we're going to try something, try changing a bid, try adding a keyword, try changing the messaging in our ad, the way we're going to measure success is probably going to be down to profit. So learning how to bid effectively is a critical skill that you must master. So let's dig in over the next few videos and learn a bit more about bidding.